Okay, I'm at another abandoned railroad bridge, abandoned by the North Central Railroad in northern Baltimore County. Now, the Northern Central Railroad, also known as the Baltimore and Susquehanna Railroad, ran for well over 100 years. Started in 1830s, and it was a line that ran from Baltimore straight up to Harrisburg and then on up to other parts of northern Pennsylvania, and eventually to Buffalo, New York. Now this is one of the older original tracks too, which is interesting. Because, like I said, they used this for over 100 years. I think it was chartered in the 1830s, but completed in 1850. So I've always heard that this is the second oldest railroad in the country, second only to the B&O, Baltimore and Ohio. Now here it is, perched nicely above the Gunpowder River in northern Baltimore County, close to the Maryland-Pennsylvania line. But these railroad ties here look pretty old. I'm sure they redid this bridge in the 20th century, but this tracks here seem to be some of the original. So that's pretty amazing that these are still here. And again, I believe this is original. These, in those years, these are the older ones. This looks very old. And they redid probably most of these bridges in the early 1900s. There is the Gunpowder River flowing south under this pretty impressive, very old bridge. Now, Abe Lincoln rode on this train and this rail twice. Once when he was going to give the Gettysburg address in Pennsylvania, where he picked up the transfer of the near Hanover Junction, PA, to go to west through Hanover to Gettysburg. And then the second time he rode it, he was dead. It was his funeral train. And now we will head on down below, get a better shot of it. Or a different shot. Well, here we have it. Now the abutments, or the bridge supports, these big concrete things, I think they were redone in the 20th century, early 20th century, because that looks like some pretty more modern construction there. But if you look over that way, I believe that's original bricks or stone construction from the 1850s. They just added concrete onto it later to help support it better. It's a beautiful country up here. Looks like this is the original iron truss, the one closest to me, from the 1830s or 40s when they built it. And then the one further back is a more modern one for the 1900s, and they modernized it a little bit. Some beautiful country up here, northern Baltimore County. Okay, I'm right at Lower Glencoe Road in northern Baltimore County. And right here, you can easily see what's left of the promenade where people got off the train for the North County Railroad for over 100 years. And here is another shot of what's left of the promenade. Right here, when people would get off the train, right here at Lower Glencoe Road. This is like a flat area where they could just walk around this dirt area called the promenade section. People would just exit the train and stand around here and wait for people and stuff like that. So let me go get another shot of this here. Just left here. Okay, we're coming up on one of the old original abandoned signals, electric signals that the engineers driving the trains of the North County Railroad would look at for any kind of instructions they needed. Just check the signal. Here it is. Still here after all these years. I'm now at the Moncton train station, which has been nicely preserved. This is like a major stop. In between the for the Northern Central Railroad. It's just like about halfway between Harrisburg and Baltimore. This is a beautifully preserved old train station for the Northern Central Railroad. Here's a nice park they made out of this Moncton train station. The train would have come right through here, through this park-like setting. And right here on the left, where that water is where the NCR would come rolling in. Rolling south, driving south, rolling south right up to that Moncton Railroad station right there at midnight on a warm August night with the moon lit. Here we are in the town of Moncton, Maryland, right where the Northern Central Railroad would stop, which is a pretty big stop. So I think this was basically halfway between Harrisburg and Baltimore and Harrisburg, because it's bigger than any of the other stations. Town of Moncton, Maryland, which is adjacent to My Lady's Manor, which is at least 10,000 acres owned by Lord Baltimore back in the 1700s. And the train stopped right here. It was a major stop. For the railroad, the NCR. Some of these buildings are preserved just like they were. Okay, and right here along the rail trail we see evidence of where the train would have been banking on this little left slope here. Because right down here is all coal and rocks that the workers, they lay that down under the track to put the ties into and everything else, the construction. And right along this ridge up here, as you can see, it's raised a little bit. It's right where this train would have been running. This was a little bit of a bank, because as you can see, we're kind of heading uphill and taking a right turn. Let's see where this is. All this coal right here. Okay, this is more evidence right here. One of the very last railroad ties. That's the left. That proves there's a train right here. And here is another piece of wood. So this is right where that train would have been banking to the left. It was heading north. There it is. That's evidence. So there was a train banking at this angle. A little bit of a steep angle too. But it had to be at that angle, so you guarantee you're not going over that hill. So this is where it was. York County Railroad ran along here for over 100 years, right here on this coal that I'm walking on. Those were the good old days. Maybe some of you out there in YouTube land might know what that is. If you do, just leave a message in the comments for me. But I'd like to know. It's like something they push some kind of cart along there or something. Or maybe to repair or the bridge, something like that. Or just work on it or paint it or whatever. Now right where this little sign is, this is right where the Parkton train station was over 100 years ago. So here's this big hill that's in the photo, but it's obviously changed drastically. This is where it was. It's hard to believe that it looks like this now. It's all very overgrown. And here's a better shot of the supports, stone walls for that water tower that's in the old photo. I don't know what else this could be. It doesn't look like a building, so it has to be for the water tower. And in the photos, historic photos, there's nothing above this. So this has to be the water tower. Okay, I've now climbed up here to where the water tower was sitting for the Parkton train station, which was right down that hill where those woods are. And I'm pretty sure this was the water tower because there is a pipe right there where that water went down. Gravity, they used gravity to get that water down. And there it is. And there's some other old structures, some old stone walls here. Not exactly sure what this went to, but it had something to do with the train station and the water tower. So that's pretty cool looking some old relics here. And those are some neat looking walls. Beautifully built in stone. Here's another shot of the water pipe. And that other stone structure. So that's pretty interesting. There's something is left of this train station, which was here for over 100 years, used by thousands of people to get down to downtown Baltimore every day. It was like a commuter train from the 40s to the 60s. And here is the sign that's still here to tell the conductor of the train to blow the whistle for the next stop coming up. There were tracks all through here. So now we'll go to the next stop. And it's just amazing how different the photos look from back then to now. None of these trees are here. This was all flattened out. Easy to see anything. None of these trees were here. The train station was right there. It was right there on the right. But you would never know it by looking at this today. And here is the sign that tells the story of the Parkton railroad station, and there it is, and there's that water tower, if you can see it. And I think those stone walls are holding that up. So that is right here. This tells the whole story of the Parkton local, the Ruxton Rocket. And right here on the right is all the different stops in the area, all the way down to Baltimore City. So once again, this is the exact spot where that train station was. Parkton train station would have been really right over here. And it was a pretty big building. It's amazing that there's absolutely nothing left of it. There's that water tower right there. So we're going to check the photo, see if that matches up. Okay, I'm now at Dairy Road, which is about a half-mile north of Parkton, the Parkton train station in the town of Parkton where we just were. And the reason I'm here is because I have a historic photo that was taken right here. And it's so vastly different, it's not even funny, than what it was before. None of these trees were here. This is totally flat. And there was a train coming down, and there were half a dozen train tracks here. I counted them. I was wondering, like, how many train tracks were there? Like one or two? No, it wasn't just one or two. There were 6. I couldn't believe it. There were 6 train tracks coming through.